Today's talk is titled, How to Be Happy When Life is Crappy. Keeping the Faith When Times Are Hard. To be delivered by Laurie Gardner. Laurie passionately believes that everyone deserves to have a fun, meaningful life. A 4 times Harvard grad and 3 times startup CEO, Laurie has served as the close advisor and coach to country, state leaders, mayors, education and business pioneers, and other top movers and shakers worldwide. Her laser insight life coaching has helped thousands of people to quickly transform their lives. Laurie received graduate and undergraduate degrees in education, psychology, and world religions from Harvard University, where she also taught quantum physics. Wow. This is the part I like. An avid world explorer and former outward bound wilderness instructor, she has traveled to 60 countries and 40 states and speaks 5 languages. She's a mastery level teacher and practitioner in over 6 body, mind, spirit wellness techniques, including intuitive coaching. Her book, The Road to Shine, has been featured on nationwide media, and the sequel, The Road to Joy, is under development and pending publication. Both books were written in her 4 days, while fasting on a vision quest in the desert. She's a Cambrian resident and the founder and director of a nonprofit, Shine Your Light, which offers leadership and personal development coaching, including for those who are low income. Please welcome Laurie.
All right, I'm short, so I have to put the block up here.
Let block up for you.
That's okay.
We always forget a few.
Oh, that's
it's human.
Oh, absolutely. All right. Hello. Good morning. Welcome. Can you guys hear me? Is this loud enough voice? Can you hear me in the back? Doris, perfect. Good morning, Zoomers. Welcome, welcome. Well, I am very honored and very thrilled to be speaking with you all this morning. And thank you, Sue, so much for being, I love saying wah. Do you guys say wah, or am I supposed to say, I was like, who's my wah? What's a wah? So thanks for being such a fabulous wah. And you've already heard enough about me, so I really want to focus today on you. And today's going to be a teeny bit different in that I will be sharing some wisdom, but I'm also going to be asking you guys to do a couple of quick introspection exercises as we go. And my goal is that by the end of today, since we were talking about one of my favorite topics, which is how to find joy and hope when things are not going well, is that we each walk out of here with at least one tool or one way we can feel happier. And I was really feeling the concerns as people were lighting their candles. And I am such a mush ball, I'm overly empathetic as it is. So it is going to be a very uplifting exercise, hopefully, for us to also focus on the joyful side. So without any further ado, I'm going to ask you guys to close your eyes. I'll only be here for a few moments. And I'm going to ask you to rate on a 1 to 5 scale. 1 is low, 5 is high, how happy you are in different areas of your life. Now, whatever number comes to mind first, go with that one. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how happy are you with your health? Whatever number. A scale of 1 to 5, how happy are you with your home, where you're living? On a scale of 1 to 5, how happy are you in your relationships, all kinds of relationships, whether you have a partner, children, neighbors, friends? And last, how happy are you on a scale of 1 to 5 with your retirement, your work, your volunteer job, whatever you do to fill your day. Now we're going to come back to this at the end of the talk, but I'd like you to pick just one of those areas where you scored low, a 1 or a 2. Not so happy. And if you had more than one area, just pick one. That's fine. And if you're like, you know what, I'm doing pretty well, then pick an area you'd like to do even better. We can always expand. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. It is easy to be happy and keep the faith when things are going well. It is not so easy when times get hard, either personally or in the world. So I'm going to start today by surefire ways to lose hope. Surefire ways not to be happy. And some of you may recognize, and maybe it's only me who does these things, but some of you may recognize some of the same patterns as well. Okay? Number 1, surefire way not to be happy: have overly specific, unrealistic expectations of exactly how you want things to turn out. Right? The who, the what, the when, the where, the how. When we seek to control and drive, this is exactly how it has to be. Well, guess what? When those things don't happen, we feel angry, we feel frustrated, we feel disappointed in ourselves, in others, in God. I wrote a whole blog called Hope versus False Expectations, and how to know the difference between healthy hope and when we're deluding ourselves. But that's the bottom line, is let go of the control. Because when instead we open it up to the universe to deliver something even better, all kinds of things can happen. So my mantra is this or something better. So I'm going to give you an example. I've been, I don't know if you guys know what sciatica is, right? When you get like literally a pain in your, you know what, goes all the way down your leg, my knee blows up, it's horrible. And so I've been dealing with this for a while, off and on, and all the, core care appointments and the PT, the exercise, like crazy. Some of you know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to throw a party, right? I moved here a year and a half ago. I'm like, hey, I want to have a party for friends, and I'm going to cook all this fabulous food and, make the house look beautiful, and on and on and on. So I forgot my own advice. I was like, okay, this sciatica has to be done, over with, in 3 more PT appointments. By 4 p.m., the day before this party, I've got to go to Morro Bay. I have to shop. I have to get the cobwebs off the deck, right? Well, it didn't happen. 4 o'clock the day before, talk about overly specific. And so I was frustrated and anxious. Like, should I cancel the party? What do I do? Blah, blah. And then I remembered, right, this or something better. Okay, so I just reached out to everyone. I said, how do you feel about a potluck? It was fantastic. They brought food. They brought wine. I had to sit down at the end of the evening. I was a little sore. They stepped up. They cleaned all the dishes. I was like, oh, I think I'm going to have sciatica for every one of my parties from now on. This was way better, right? So that's number 1. Let go of your overly specific expectations. Number 2, surefire way. Oh yeah, this is my favorite. Desperation energy. Trying too hard, striving. Things have to get better. Things have to get better in my life, in the world. Push, 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 push. We can be such overachievers. It's ridiculous. Even with our own happiness. I have one coaching client, and he's like, yeah, I'm trying so hard to meditate. I'm like, you're trying so hard to relax? Like, does anyone else catch the irony? Right? Like, you're trying a little too hard to relax. So when we push and we strive, we exhaust ourselves emotionally, spiritually, physically. When we try so hard to make things better in our own world and for the world, to the point of this striving desperation energy, eventually we just plop down in the middle of the road and can't take another step. And we might be bawling our face off or shaking our fists at God. But that is a surefire way not to get where you need to be when you are in that place. This one I know very deeply. When I go down, I circle all the way down. Again, overachiever, I don't mess around. When I'm going into despair, I'm going all the way down. And the key is, how do you get back up? And so one of the wisest things that I finally figured out is, there is a time to push, of course, and there is a time to kick back. Some people call this male energy, driving forward energy versus receptive energy. I don't put genders on it. There's a time to make things happen, and there is a time to just let go, be patient, and wait. In Spanish, they have a word, esperar. It means both to wait and hope. How many of us wait and hope? Right? And so, all right, there's another example, moving to Cambria. So I lived in Berkeley, a long time, 22 years. And I loved it, loved it. I'm going to say this compassionately, but COVID did not bring out the best in my neighbors. And it was actually pretty terrible. I lived in a fourplex with a shared yard, and they literally started bullying me, making up lies, spreading all this stuff to the property manager. Like, I felt like I was in 7th grade again, like, as the smart fat kid, and all the kids wanted to push me in the locker. Like, it was not a good time. And I thought, well, I'm a wellness coach and teacher and speaker. I'm an author. This is not a creative environment. Like, I'm walking in eggshells in my own home, right? So I'm like, all right, I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. And so I literally was, again, forgetting my own advice, just pushing all the listings. There's like Zillow and Zallo and Trulia and Julia and Redfin and Redball. I mean, there's so many online listings, and I had 2 realtors, and every weekend I'm doing looky-loo at the open. I couldn't find anything. Not that I could afford, not that was safe, in a neighborhood that as a single female, I wanted to hang out in at night, right? So, well, I can't do my work here. Came down to Cambria. I'd been here a bunch of times before. Luckily found a room to rent with a couple that used to run an Airbnb and now is again. And I just literally brought my laptop, and I had my baseball cap, my beach chair. I'm like, I'm going to finalize this book. And I went from the Cove all the way down to Pismo at every beach, just writing. And then I thought, why don't I live here? But again, everyone was like, you'll never find anything in Cambria. I bought my house in 1969 for $5. It's $5 million now. And I thought, oh my God, like, really? Oh, needless to say, life is not, I'm like, this is really hard. I can't live in Berkeley at that place, but I can't go anywhere else. What am I going to do? Then I remembered my advice, right? I'm just going to let go. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. I don't know. I have to go back. I'm paying rent in Berkeley. So I drive all the way back to Berkeley, and I'm not kidding. Maybe within 24 hours, I had not even unpacked the car. I got an email from 2 property managers down here of a couple places I'd looked at that didn't fit. If you come down here right now, before we list it, we can give you these places. Like, So I grabbed my friend Sassy. I'm like, come on, Sass, they have these pretty lights in this place in Cambria. We're just going to go into the winter. Let's go. And I ended up in the most spectacular place in a rental where I am now. So again, only after getting out of that desperation energy, must have better situation now, not be like, well, all right, let's see what happens. That's often when we can receive, right? It's like trying to get a gift when your hands are in fists. Oh, I want something. Well, I can't even give it to you. Now I can receive. Third way to lose hope and definitely not be happy. Compare yourself to others. I teach in my master classes, comparison equals death. Death of motivation, death of your spirit, death of your self-esteem. I personally hate Facebook. I know I have to have all that social media stuff with what I do, but everybody's having a better life than me. They're on vacation with their pets. I feel terrible after I look at Facebook. I'm like, am I the only one who had a bad day today? Oh, the truth is, we don't know how anyone is doing really. This is what I do for a living. I'm a counselor, I'm a coach. We don't know how their marriage is, their life is, their home situation, right? The only happiness we should be worried about and focused on is our own. And the fourth way to, for sure, not find joy or happiness is by identifying your happiness by trying to heal or fix someone else, especially those we love. If your entire identity and everything you do is focused on helping your kids or your grandkids, your friends, your neighbors, to the point where that is, you're totally personally invested in their success is your success, well, guess what? Spoiler alert, people, we cannot control where other people end up. We can love on them all we want, and we should. But if you cling to their happiness equals my happiness, everyone's journey and path is their own. I love the spiritual branch of Jewish Kabbalah, which says not only can we not fix or heal somebody else, we harm their spiritual development if we try. And the example I like to give, I used to be a teacher as well in inner city Boston for gang kids. And I also worked with the little ones for a while. And so let's pretend all of you are a parent or a grandparent of a fourth grader who hates math, right? And they're frustrated. It's this worksheet with long division. What am I going to do? I hate this. I hate this. And you're like, you're so sick of hearing it, or you just feel so sad that they're in pain. You're like, oh, you give it to me. And so you fill out the long division, you do it for them, right? They turn it in and they get an A. Okay, yeah, that kid got an A, but sure as heck didn't learn long division. You did the math for them, literally. How much more harmful is it when we tell somebody what to do with their life or try and heal or fix them, and maybe they follow our advice, but they didn't actually learn the deeper lesson themselves? Well, it will repeat itself, right? All right. So how can we find joy and happiness when times get hard? How can we? Now, West Point did this whole research project and survey. They were very fascinated with, well, how do people succeed? How do they get what they want, whatever it is they're pursuing, happiness or whatever? And they found that it had nothing to do with intelligence, nothing to do with education, nothing to do even with how hard people worked. The sole determinant was perseverance. And they developed a grit scale. Now, I am all for perseverance and sticking it out. I teach on that as well. But I have to tell you, the grit scale, I mean, that sounds really hard. For me, that sounds like, like one of the, was it Tough Mudder, where they like crawl through the mud on their elbows and like swing over the pit on the, no, that's too hard of a way to try and find joy for me. And instead, what I'm here to offer is there is a much quicker, simpler, and easier way to find happiness and joy in hard times. And that is by trusting our deepest knowing, our intuition. So I'd like you to close your eyes again. And for this quick exercise, I'd like everybody to remember a moment in time, however old or young you are, when you felt like your truest, happiest, best self. You can be doing something like dancing or gardening or walking on the beach. You might be with other people, alone, just sitting there doing nothing. But just think of a time when you felt like, wow, this is the real me. This is me at my truest best. And most importantly, what I want you to notice are, what are the qualities of you at your most authentic, happiest self? Are you peaceful and calm? Are you goofy and laughing? Are you confident, healthy, fit, dignified, strong? Everybody has a unique spirit, like every snowflake is unique. This is your spirit. So I'd like you to imagine giving your truest best self a huge bear hug. or maybe jumping into your true self and looking out at the world through its eyes, and feel pulsing in every cell of your being who you really are. Say that silently in your head. I am whatever. I am confident. I am funny. I am smart. I am strong. This is who you are. And radiate those qualities from your heart center out in all directions, up, down, all sides of you. Radiate your true self out into the world. When we walk around in the energy of who we really are at our best, it's like walking around in our favorite clothes. And I'd like you to ask your highest self, your true self, going back to the beginning of this talk, that area of your life that you would like to be happier. Just ask your highest self, is there any advice or one small step I can take to be happier? Just one step. Whatever bubbles up to your awareness is the answer. Go ahead and open your eyes. I would just like to end with a call to action, really. Every single one of you here at UU is a light worker. And by a light worker, I mean someone who has chosen to spread love as what you came here to do. To whatever circles, big or small, you consider your community. You came here to remember that we came here for love. And so when a light worker goes down in despair, we all go down. Blackout throughout the land when the light workers go down. Instead, when you feel sad and alone, rise. When you feel angry at the world and the chaos and don't know who to trust, rise. When you feel confused and tired and sick of it all, rise. Like a phoenix from the ashes 20 times a day if you have to. Rise again and again and again. Walk to the sky, leap to the sky, crawl there if you have to, just get there. Because as light workers, we find joy even in tough times, not only for our own happiness, but we rise for everyone else. And the world really needs you right now. Rise. Thank you. That was